What's going on, my friends? Israel Galindo here from Advanced Networks. I hope you guys are doing awesome out there. So today I was working on a couple of projects. One of them is I'm working on a masterclass for AI and ChatGPT, hence one of the companies I'm doing work for now that I developed a week ago. Uh, but anyways, I really wanted to just kind of go live and give you guys a full spectrum of how this technology is used and what is this technology anyways, and how it's used on my daily day here at the office or at home, and how it makes my productivity 10 times faster than I did before. Now, let's go back a little bit and start at the beginning. So a couple of years ago, there was this technology by different developers, OpenAI, things like that, decided that they were going to be building a technology that was an assistant to us. Think Alexa, think Google, think Bing, all of those things that really help us move forward in assisting us in our everyday. Right now, you ask Alexa for the time, you ask Alexa to play a song, to turn off the lights, to turn on the lights. But what if you could get it to do your more mundane tasks that you usually are not doing that? I mean, Alexa, you can tell her, hey, can you turn off lights and remind me to do this? But what if you had a technology that said, can you do this, but also send an email to my customers and also write me the story I've been trying to do and get me new business and all of that, and let me know when you're done? If this technology could do all of that for you, it would be amazing, and that's what it's doing. So we're actually going to be switching screens before I start sneezing because I got allergies today. We're going to switch screens right here, so I just kind of want to show you what I mean. Okay, so I'm working on a project today, and the project I'm working on, let me do something really quick. Hold on before I forget. Let me grab a camera down here, and then we'll put this camera in the corner, but also make it a little bit smaller. So we actually also have it, doop, there we go. I don't want it square, I want it circled. Yeah, there we go. So we're just gonna make it a little bit smaller. So I'm actually doing a live thing right now. And what this is gonna do is this is actually going to show you what it is, what it does, how it works, and all of that. So let's start with the beginning, as I stated before. So ChatGPT, everybody's talking about it. You're hearing it everywhere. You're seeing it in the news. ChatGPT is a language model. How can I explain language model to you in simple terms? It's a brain computer that gets dumped so much information into it per second that it is like the master brain of all brains in the computer world. What that means is you're able to ask it to do stuff and make it do stuff. A lot of people don't even use this correctly. They just ask it a question. How are you? What's the state of Minnesota? Things like that. But one of the things that I really wanted to explain on this is, well, you know what? Let's bring the screen over. Okay, so here is something, and I'm going to go into it a little further, right? As I'm talking to you, I ask it like this. So this is I'm just giving you a quick example. This is going to be the simple example. Explain to non-technical users what ChatGPT is. And then it's going to go through and explain what it actually is and what it does. So this is going to go through and explain to you a little bit of what that. Tell my users how it can benefit them and make a task list of items they can use daily. So I go through and it says, sure, I'm going to do that for you. This is the benefits and so on. So as I'm talking to you guys live right now on this, these are the, as you can see, these are the benefits of ChatGPT. Quick access to information. This is information that can provide the best answers. And because it continues to learn, I don't have to ask the same question over. I can talk to it like a human. And we're going to go back a little bit and tell you how to get into it and all of that. Personalized assistance, you can personalize this and tailor it for your needs. If you have a catering business, if you have a technology business, you can cater it to your persona's company and really push forward the needs of what needs to be added. Somebody needs to ask a question to your website. It can do that. It's always 24/7 available. Yes, it's always there to get help and all of that. Conversational experience is always pretty big as well. So it's natural and engaging, and when it asks about the task list that we're doing, it'll say, checking the weather, finding a restaurant. Yeah, these are the usual things that you would actually see most of the time in the Alexa and the Google's world, right? Playing a game and all of these things like that. So how to get to it? Why do I need it in my life, kind of thing? So let's start at the beginning. So, and actually that's something we can do. How to get to ChatGPT and set it up. So let's start there, right? It's going to tell you what it is. It's available on various platforms, but the easiest way is going to be to the OpenAI website, and accessing it and setting it up is as simple as logging into it. So we're actually going to go ahead and do that. We're going to go here to chat.openai.com. This is a browser base. You can get it on your phone as well, but we're just going to start in the basics. We're going to go in here and we're just going to log in. I've already got my account registered in my name, so we're going to actually go into that. And then we're going to see, it's going to give you some examples of what we can do, and then it's remembering the chats of everything that I've ever asked it. Now, the difference between the basic, which is free, and the upgrade, it's going to be that the upgrade gives you priority. Think of like when you're printing something and you got priority printing, it prints before somebody else. When you ask it a question, it gets more robust answers, and I think it costs $20 a month for the plus, but it also gives you the ability to get priority answers before everybody else, because there's a little bit of a delay sometimes. So you can clear conversations, you can upgrade that, you can make it dark mode so it looks darker like this. You can get help and then you log out. So now you've got this chat thing in your screen. So let's go to what I was working on today. Today I was actually working on phishing and security for a customer, and they clicked on something and it affected their system, and I need to train users on that. So I needed to make a video, I needed to make an email. I also needed the email to be very stern in regards to very serious, right? So we're actually going to go through that example. So my example for today, let me get my notes up here. Let's go here. So we're just going to put it up here, and I'll just put today's example, phishing and teaching users how to secure their systems and not get fooled by attacks in technology. Okay, so we're going to start with that. That's going to be simple. Okay, so I need to write an email to a customer and let them know that their employee clicked on something and they got to be stern. I got a training video that I have to do for them. I also have to make a video on YouTube so I can put it on their website. I also scan their network. I also have to write some code to fix whatever Microsoft is doing. Again, it doesn't matter. You can do it for, hey, I'm doing a new clothing line. I wanted things like that. And let me give you this example right here. Okay, here you go. Ready? This is the one that everybody keeps doing, and this is actually a really good one as well. Okay, so let's start with, I'm going to start a new business, and I only have $100 in my name. Okay, so I am starting a new business, catering and relating to vegan food. Also, I have $100 to my name. and I need to make $1,000 by Monday. How can I get that started? Tell me what I should do and how I should make this $100. Invest to make 1,000. Give me tips and tricks and create a marketing plan for me with ideas and website name, list names, and marketing posts for socials. So we'll start something like that. We'll go to my example in a minute, but this is kind of identifying any market, right? So this is basically going to tell me that I've got a new business that's coming up with limited funds and how you can sort of progress and make that happen right away. So here's some of the things that it's asking you to do. For example, you only have $100 to your name, and we're going to obviously make $1,000 in the short period of time. So first thing it wants us to do is to identify our target as a vegan caterer, and it kind of tells you how you're going to tailor this. Then it's going to tell you to invest in basic supplies. With $100, you can start by investing in basic supplies as food containers, utensils, to create a very, very small menu. Third thing is you want to build a website and social media presence and having that as well. So, okay, you have $100 to your name. How are you going to do that, right? Well, you can go on things like Wix and WordPress and start building your social presence. You can offer special promotions to attract new customers. You can do the buy one, get one free, 20% off your first order, yada, yada. You can partner with local businesses and partner with yoga studios to help a wider audience, yada, yada. Attend local events. So it's kind of giving you some ideas of what you can do. And then some idea names: Veggie Delights, Green Bites, The Vegan Kitchen, and Plant-Based Eats. Social media posts can be as showcasing your menu with ingredients to use, how to make them, and so on and so on. So as you can see, it'll tell you how you can budget to start making that $1,000 from $100, right? Now, when I've asked it this question, I want to go further. Let's just say I want to know more about the plant-based eats or the vegan kitchen. I go, expand more on the vegan kitchen and how I can use that name on a website, ads, posts, and utilize a catchy phrase with it so everyone knows the name of the place. So we'll go through, and it's actually going to go through and start letting me know, great, this is the name that you're going to be using. It tells you how it could be catchy. The website can be doing the vegan kitchen. Make sure it's prominently a homepage, and it kind of tells you a little bit about that. As far as the ads in your posts, you can do the main tagline, but be consistent with your colors. Satisfy the hunger with a vegan kitchen tasting plant-based cuisine. You can also create short videos, yada, yada. So, okay. So let's just say I wanted to create a website for me. Create me code for my website with catchy colors that represent that website domain name, and create in HTML and CSS. That's a little more technical, obviously, but it's going to go through. And it'll kind of go through and say, okay, I can do this, but I can tell you what I can do. So this is going to tell me I can do a color scheme. I can do, this is for CSS, use image and graphics. So it's basically telling me and now giving me the actual code for the website. So it's just going to basically do a quick and dirty code in creating the website for me. So this is what it's doing. I just want to tell I want to do an event this weekend, yada, yada. So this is the actual website code that it's creating for me. And it's like, tell my friends on TikTok about my new business, make it fun and poppy and silly, but let them know we are going to launch this Saturday, and everyone gets a free dish from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. So I'll go through and it'll create something poppy, right? Opening shot, if you hold your vegan dish, smiling and nodding, head to your music, blah, blah, blah. Cut to a shot of you, doing that. So basically it's giving me a script of how I can do a video. And this is the video that I'm doing for TikTok. And it's like, okay, this is what it's going to let Instagram know that I am looking for volunteers for this Saturday, and taste the dishes that people can bring for a potluck as well. Must be vegan, and make a list of no dishes. So it'll go through and it'll go ahead and make me that event of what I need. We're doing a potluck, and it's so funny while it's doing that, we're gonna actually change this right now. Strike that out and make it a vegan restaurant lunch and socials with $100. So now it's kind of giving me this information, and then I want it to basically cater to a certain type of people. Create a marketing plan for this business. Also, get me a mission statement and write an email to my current clients that we are open Saturday. So now it's going to go through and do a couple of things. Here's my marketing plan for that. And this is, again, in regards to that restaurant, right? Creating that. The mission statement, it still remembers the name and everything that I did. And then it starts writing an email onto that. Now, I also want to write say I want to write a stern email. Write a stern email in regards to non-vegan dishes that we will not want them mixed with our vegan plates. To respect that, but at the end, make it witty to ensure no one gets insulted. So now you're going to go through and it's going to basically write a simple draft email, right? Letting you know very stern that, hey, we wanted to be vegan, want to stay vegan, the reason why we wanted to be, all of that. But, P.S., if you have any questions, concerns, don't hesitate to ask, etc. Remember, vegan food can just be as delicious, satisfying as non-vegan food, if not more. So it really is just kind of pushing the norm that this tool is really doing a lot of things for you. Get me witty titles and fun titles for my YouTube videos on this new business. Get me 10 of them. Also, where should I post and what are best times to post these ideas? Lastly, get me hashtags that are trending. Here we go. So now it's going to go through and give me 10 witty and fun titles for the YouTube videos. Now we're going to pick one and we're going to expand on it because this is something that I really want to show you guys in regards to how I could sort of go down the rabbit hole, right? So we're going to go through and it's going to give us our hashtags. But say I don't want them in that format. I want them with a comma, and I'm just going to say change the hashtags and remove the replace with a comma and make it not in list or format. So it's going to go through and it's going to give it to me in this way as well, because that works better for me. Veganism, right? So we'll talk about not veganism. Create me an example of veganism statement, and also what's a good dish to talk up at the opening in regards to veganism, and what kind of drinks should I pair with these dishes? So it's a couple of requests that I've actually done here. So basically, it's going to tell you what veganism is. It's kind of going to go through. Now, as far as talking up a dish at the opening, regards veganism, what about a lentil soup? It talks about this being a good stew. Let me roll it down so you can see it. So veganism is a lifestyle that seeks to reduce harm and suffering to animals and environments by abstaining from the use of animal product foods, clothing, and other purposes to promote the use of plant-based foods and materials as alternative to kinder to our planet and its inhabitants. As far as the dish talk up at the opening, it could be, hearty lentil soup with vegetables, and this can be packed with plant-based protein, fiber, as you can see all that, paired with some freshly baked whole wheat bread and a side of tangy vinaigrette dressing. And now I'm getting hungry because I haven't eaten today. For drinks, homemade lemonade and a hot, herbal tea would be great. So then it'll kind of tell me the ingredients on that. Now I'm going to go in here and say we've got some people with allergies. Okay, so I'll just say, give me some changes to the recipe for people with allergies to cloves and cumin. So then it's going to go through and redo this and tell me what I could substitute things in, right? So, okay, so we're building this out. We're kind of going through the whole thing. And that's like, okay, now let's get to the business side of things. Okay, make me a business plan proposal for VC investors that could potentially put money into this business. So it's going to go through and then give me an executive summary of things where I can do the market opportunity for these investors or the VCs and things like that. In regards to that, I can always even go as far as what would be a good logo for this? What would be a good attire for this? Things like that to make it more enticing. What could I tell investors as far as their ROI on all these things? What kind of ROI can I expect on Q1? A little bit on the business side as far as the Q1, because it doesn't have enough knowledge of knowing how much money is going in, how much money is going out. But these are the things that you can actually add. You can go as deep as you want it to be. You can go as silly as you want it to be. Also, I like a logo design idea for this. Can you create a prompt for a logo design? Explain the colors matching this business model and something that attracts clientele. So now it'll go through and then create a prompt design. Now, why am I doing a prompt design? Because now I can take this and go to another application where I drop this in there and it creates me a logo, a vegan catering business logo that it'll do it for me. So all of these things are called prompts. And when you create a prompt, is you're creating a set of rules and instructions. So again, people use this like Google on steroids, but for me, when I do something like this, I have it do everything for me. So now we're going to switch over to my example that had to do with technology, right? I had a user that infected a network because they clicked on an email they shouldn't have. So I'm just going to start with that example. User infects network on 365. I'm going to start with that example. We're going to go through cleaning the user. We're going to go through reporting to manager, training staff, creating a video about it on YouTube, tweet about fishing during Easter, if I spell right, Easter, and then make a email scan schedule nightly. Okay, so now we're gonna get on the technical side. So I gotta, basically a user had an infection and I gotta tell the users not to click on this user. So so you can do it on the same chat. It'll still do that. I always just do new chats for new subjects I'm working on because then I can go back to the other ones by clicking new chat. So I'll just put a user infected my network via a phishing email. Please send an email to all staff. I'm going to make up a name about Joe and not to open anything Joe has been sending. Also advise his manager, let's call her Stacy, that he needs to be logged off his PC and not to use it until we clean the system up. So let's start with that. A couple of emails, a couple of communications. So basically it's gonna tell me, okay, this is what's going on. And then it's gonna tell me how I could remedy these things, right? It basically told me these are the things that you should be doing as far as that. And then because they went through and said, hey, notify all of these things, I know what I need to do. So I immediately need to disconnect the computer from the network. Now, write the email to Joe's manager about the incident and the steps the manager has to take. So now it's going to write an email. And that email that it's actually writing, it's going to let you know that it's going to tell Stacy about what happened and what occurred with Joe. Immediately get him off the computer. Also advising the staff to do that. So I'm going to go now write an email to all staff about this incident and make them aware of the attack and how they can protect themselves by being vigilant. So now it's going to also write another email to the entire staff in regards to that. Now, the way I have it for my system, because I'm more techie, I have it connected to my email. So these will actually be generated into my drafts and then go out to my customer or customers in regards to that. You know, don't open this and do that. Now, if I'm looking at this and I want it to be a little more enticing of make sure they do not open any emails from unknown senders, I'll say, can you emphasize? Oh my God, I can't even spell emphasize. Can you be more strong, emphasize, on this subject in the email? So it's going to go through and it's going to go, okay, let me rewrite it, emphasizing that piece right there, that we take security very serious and things that can happen. So again, it rewrote the email how I wanted it to be, right? Do not open any senders. Do not. So it's kind of going through the whole thing. So this is something that I actually am dealing with today. So I'm having to do that. Now I got to tell my staff what they need to do and work around the employee schedule. Write an email to IT staff about the list of things they will need to do to Joe's system to secure it and how to lock 365 down for intrusions. Make a list for the IT staff on what they need to do. Task list. Also, make a note of the hours. Let's just say $250 an hour times 4 hours. Make note of this so we can bill later. So now it's going to go through and it's going to write an email to my IT staff and let them know what occurred, how they're going to do it, what they're going to have to do to implement that. But you can see that it's doing the job. I didn't have to tell it how to do the IT job. It's actually understanding because it's a supercomputer. So it's kind of going through and understanding what needs to happen, locking it all down. Tell me more about locking down 365 with examples. Okay, so then it's going to go through and it's going to tell me how to lock things down, how to make things more secure. So it's not only writing things for me, but it's also teaching me things that I might be missing, right? An example, as an IT person, I know how to do all of these things, but maybe one of my technicians doesn't, and I could just say, emphasize more information on this, right? So now, once I'm done with these, I got to train the staff. Create a list of examples about phishing to get to the staff and make them simple and easy to understand. Give me 5 examples and corrections. So now it's going to go through and give me some examples of when you receive an email, what you should do, what you should not do, correct it, things like that. Now, this is something I'm going to be sending to a customer, so I'm going to go through and proofread it and make sure you do this, you correct this, you do this, you correct this, and all of that. So now, because this is a big company, now I got to basically tell the world that this company was infected and not to click on anything for vendors and things like that. Before we do that, we're going to do, right here, create a YouTube video script. So I'm going to go here and say, create me a video title for YouTube. Scary and to the point about this incident and good enough. So create me a title for that. Okay, phishing attack. How can... With one click, we can put our network at risk. Okay. Get me a description for this as well for the YouTube video. So now it's going to give me a description, and this is kind of explaining for description what the YouTube video is going to be about. Also, let me get some hash tags for this video to make it trend. All right, so then it's gonna basically put some hashtags on there. Also tweet about this incident, letting customers know that ABC company is infected and to not open anything from ABC company for next 72 hours. Make it serious and add a few hashtags. So now it's going to go through and say, okay, here it is. Urgent notice. This company has fallen victim to a phishing attack. Network has been compromised. For your safety, do not open any, for the next 72 hours, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so now I've got this on. Now, to be silly, write me a silly rhyme about this incident to put me in a positive frame of mind. Make me laugh. Okay, so now it's going to write something silly, right? Because when things like that happen, we're serious, right? So we're going to kind of go into this. Oh no, we fell for a phishing line, clicked on the link, and everything was fine until we realized our mistake. Now we're in a cybersecurity headache. But if you're not, we'll clean this with glee and keep our networks safe as can be. Remember to stay vigilant, my friend, and let's hope that this phishing trend will end. So things like that, something to make you laugh, right? You can write a blog article about this for our website for others to see the headaches of this attack. add how to prevent feature attacks. Also add a call to action. That's, obviously what they need to do when they see this blog. To contact advanced networks support if they suspect these threats. Yeah, I can't spell it, threats. All right, so here we go. Now, one of the things is some of the staff also happens to be Spanish-speaking staff, so I also want to write something in Spanish for them. So this is actually going to be a translator for me as well. So basically, this is basically a blog that it's putting into my page. And I just put, I talked to it like a human. I just remembered some of the staff speaks Spanish and one Korean. Can you write an email to be mindful about this attack with a summary of the incident in Spanish and Korean for me to email out today. So now what it's going to do is it's going to go through and write it in Spanish, and it's going to go through, and yes, that is actually in Spanish, as I speak Spanish, so I can understand what it's saying, and it's explaining what occurred and things that they should be leery of. And again, because I know some of the staff is Spanish, and it'll go through and write it in Korean as well. So these are the things that I don't speak Korean, but as you can see, it is writing it in Korean as well, so I can send this out to the Korean-speaking person as well, so they are aware they should not be clicking on that. And yes, they speak English, but it's always also nice to reiterate this here. Now, once in a blue moon, it'll stop generating because you're sending so many requests so fast. Then what it'll do is, if it didn't generate it how you wanted it, you can click regenerate, or you can just put continue. And then what it'll do is it'll continue that translation from beginning, because what it did is it exhausted its resources of how many characters it can give you. And because it was writing in Spanish and Korean, it was so many characters. So I just said continue, and then it'll just kind of go through. Now you can see it redid it in Spanish for me one more time, just in case I missed anything on that. So if it exhausts again, then I know I can, change it up. So, all right, so we know how we clean a user, we know how to report to manager, training staff, tweet about that, and then we're gonna make a schedule. Create me a schedule for the next 72 hours of what we need to do to keep the user secure and protected. Make this schedule hourly, and what steps we need to take. So now I'm going to go through, and it's basically going to give me day one. This is where you're going to do an hour one. You're going to isolate the machine, make sure that you do a full assessment. Day two, hour two, identify that, etc. Hour three. So this is on the first day, right? We're going to isolate the computer anyways. So now day two, then it's going to basically go through a deep scanning of the computer. Day three, we're going to make sure they are good. And then write me a completion email to our client that the machine is safe to work on. So here we go. So basically it's just going to let us know what we needed to do. And you notice that all of these things it's doing for me, so I don't have to think. And a lot of you are probably going to use that as an example of, well, Israel, where's the creativity? Where's the work? You are letting a machine do it for you. And that regards, where really does this fall into now it's doing it for you? Because if I could verbally tell my Alexa to do all of these things and I just walk away and go play some video games or go eat a sandwich, are we going to be phased out? I don't see it that way. I see it that it depends on the person. You can use it for good. You can use it for evil. One of the things that one of my buddies who works for IKEA Support Internationally is, he imported all the PDFs of how to build all of these things, hundreds of thousands of PDFs. And anytime somebody emails them that something's not working, it reads through the PDFs and it says, this is how you fix it. So he created a workflow where it does it for you and you don't have to do it yourself. I'm doing the same thing, but I'm doing verbally. I'm creating APIs to talk to different things. One, it'll go through and read and summarize an email. As a matter of fact, let me pull up an email so I can show you what I mean by that. So let me go through. Here we go. Okay. Okay, so here's a good one, right? This is a fully legit email, and this has to do with something for a computer for one of my users, and also my customer has some questions about my contract. So summarize this email that came to me. And create a response for me to Carolyn. So it's my customer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through, and this is what it was asking about. So basically, this is what it's telling me. Based on the email you received, it seems like somebody was following up in regarding to a meeting that was supposed to take place last week. Also, they mentioned that they had a new office manager and bookkeeper who will be handling the questions for your contract. They acknowledged your request and wanted to make sure that they could fill the promises. So here's a possible response to Carolyn. Thanks for reaching out. Unfortunately, we were not able to attend the event last week due to other commitments, but we appreciate following up. As for the contract, I understand the needs and balances and services for the staff and so on. I'm happy to work with Marissa to ensure we can find a solution. So again, now that that's set up, write an introduction to, who is this chick? Marissa, and remind her that the contract expired on April 1st. Due to this, they are on an hourly basis of $250 an hour, and it's starting to get expensive, right? So this is a legit email, so I'm just kind of showing you guys transparency here. So basically, it's letting Marissa know of that. However, I also don't want her to freak out that, hey, we're not going to help you. So I'm going to say, can you add in there a sincere comment that we are willing to extend the date as long as they provide a signature by 5 p.m. today. So it's going to write an updated version of that email. Now, again, this doesn't have to be just for email. This could be for anything and everything on your computer. We'll go into that right now, right? Excel, Word, things like that. So basically, this is basically writing that. Okay, so let's just say change gears on here. My boss wants me to get new leads in Ventura County for customers in the fashion district. And how can I do that? Give me ideas and a Word document for cold calls to these prospective customers. Okay, so basically, this one we're going to switch gears. Your boss basically said, hey, you need new leads, yada, yada. So let's put in also what it's for. New leads for our clothing line in Ventura. Customers in the fashion district, yada, yada. So we're going to go through and we're basically going to do this. Like, sure, we're going to do some generated leads. A lot of salespeople like us, we like to see that. So here we go. So we've got some generated leads that it's going to do. That being, it's going to go through and say, hi, here are some of the examples. Let me go back up a little bit. Attend a training show. We already know that, but let's say right now we don't have time to do a training show. Partner with local boutiques. Okay, I want to learn more about that, of how I can partner and what I can say to them to partner. So I'm going to take that. Help me partner. I'm just going to paste this. Help me. Best way to make this happen. So now it's going to go through, but while we go on that, utilize social media, obviously. Reach out to fashion bloggers, very important. They cost money, of course. Offer promotions, cold call script. Hello, my name is blah, 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 and I'm calling from blah, blah, blah. We're a clothing line based in Ventura County. Wanted to reach out to see if you're interested in learning more about products. We specialize in blah, 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 blah. So our clothing line has been popular amongst customers, yada, yada, yada. So then I asked it to help me partner with a local boutique. Great question. This is how you could do it. Identify the potential boutique, make a contact, offer an incentive, very important, and then be prepared. Obviously asking questions about the partnership, right? And then follow up. That's the biggest thing, is you want to follow up. Remember the building relationships, yada, yada, yada. So in the middle of this, I'm thinking, oh my God, one of my customers that wanted me to follow up, I never did. And then I'll just put something like, also, can you write an email to Ryan about my follow-up last Monday, and if we can get together to see if our clothing line will be in tune with his business model. Also, figure out how we can partner as of next week. Maybe a show or a, I don't know, just maybe a show. Okay, let's just a show. Or a meeting. Two different things, obviously, but I'm just thinking out loud, right? So then it kind of go through, and it'll just tell me what needs to go down in regards to that. We're going to switch gears also in a minute on this one. So now we're going to get to a fun one. Okay, here's a fun one. I like this one. Storytelling. If you want to create books, if you want to tell stories, right? I want to write an ebook about a cat and an amulet that is yellow in color and turns everyone into unicorns. Make it scary yet fun, but also add a twist that keeps the audience guessing and wanting more. So we're going to write an ebook about a cat and an amulet that it's yellow in color. Let's do a yellow amulet. Yellow amulet. Here we go. We'll do it like that. All right. So it's a little story, right? We're going to start short. Call the cat Whiskers. And make it so the amulet, if it gets wet, it turns to cheese. All right, so let's see what it does. Sounds like an interesting concept for an ebook. So basically, this is kind of writing the introduction, the chapter, the scary twist, the fun adventure, the unexpected twists. So now it's giving you like the chapter style, right? It's giving you the exact things where you want to do the ebook of how you're going to do it. So I'm going to tell it to write me chapter 1. So, and then, yes, you can sell these online, by the way. So write me chapter 1. Here we go. So we're going to start with chapter 1, and it's basically going to go through and generate the story. Now, as I mentioned before, if you need more information on these, you can always tell it to continue, or you can tell it to do a twist. Maybe this isn't what you're wanting to do, and maybe you wanted to change the story. The amulet didn't sink to the bottom of the bowl, it turned to a block of cheese. But maybe you wanted to, instead of a block of cheese, it turned into dark cheese. And so on. So here's, chapter 1. Okay, write me chapter 2. Also, tweet a fun tweet about this book to my audience. So I'm going to go through, and it's basically going to give you chapter 2, tell you all about it. And then once it's writing chapter 2, then what it's also going to do is create a tweet for me in a minute in regards to the book. So I gave it a couple of instructions to know what it's supposed to do. So in a second, here it is. Tweets. Follow the magic adventures of Whisker the cat and her yellow amulet that turns everybody into unicorns. This ebook is full of twists and turns that will keep you on the edge of the seat. Okay, so now that we've got this done, where can I sell this ebook? Give me some ideas and roughly what I need to do prior to selling. So now it's going to go through and tell me how I can sell this book. So examples for you guys, go sell some books, So we're going to go through and here's some examples of what it could do. Where can you sell this ebook that you just created out of nothing, right? Amazon Kindle, direct publishing, that's one of the ones that you can do. Barnes & Noble, Apple Books, Smashwords, and so on. Before you sell the ebook, there's a few things that you have to do. Format the ebook. Make sure it's properly formatted, edited before publishing. Check typos, yada, yada. Choose a cover design. Now, that's something I'm very interested in. So I'm going to copy that because I'm going to ask it a question about that. Your ebook, the first thing the readers will see are very important to a cover design, something catchy that represents your book. So I'm going to tell it to create that for me. Set the price, decide on a price for your ebook, on the length, gender, and target audience. Write a book description and so on. Choose the keywords. Consider marketing, yada, yada. Okay, so I'm going to go back on here and I'm just going to say, help me with the cover design. And as a reminder, I'm just going to tell it like this. So it's going to go through. Very cartoonish. I knew it was going to be very cartoon. So we're going to go like a cartoon image of that. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually take this and, illustrate an image. Okay, so I do want it to be very cartoony. So now I'm going to go into something that creates words into graphics. And artists hate this because it's doing their work for them, but it's called Mid-Journey. So I'm going to go here in Mid-Journey, and I'm going to, and I have it tied into my my Discord, so I have it in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through, let me expand it out a little bit, and I'm going to tell it, paste here, a cartoonish image of Whispers the cat holding a yellow amulet with unicorns in the background. And then I can just put realistic, fun, 4K, and animated. So in here, again, I'm going very realistic, very futuristic, pixel art, anime, blah, blah, blah. So I can choose whatever. For now, let's just go with realistic. So I'm going to hit enter. And then what this is going to do, and again, this is Mid-Journey, this is going to take the same technology that we're doing of giving it a prompt or telling it in words what we want, imagination, right? And then it's going to create some pictures for us. Now, this is a prompt I did earlier for my tech stuff where it looks like somebody got hacked. So it created those photos for us, so I didn't have to sit there and wait for a artist to do it for me. This is doing it for me. Some of the things that it does, I mean, it's ridiculous how stylish it is. Let me go to Mid-Journey here to show you some of the things that I've seen people create. For example, a New York apartment interior with Mid-Journey modern furniture with a fixie bike on the wall, yada, yada. So then it creates things like this. It automatically generates these AI photos, A beautiful girl with blonde hair, blue eyes, colored t-shirt standing by the window in the kitchen. do something like that. You can even go as far as saying, give me a picture of me and Michael Jackson standing next to each other at a rap concert. Yeah, rap. So these are the kind of things that it could do. It'll create something. For me, I do this a lot, creating photos in regards to backgrounds or things like that. So for right now, we're actually going to go back to my example. And this is kind of what it did for my prompt. Now, do I like it? Do I not like it? It's very, very animated, but not enough cartoony. Maybe this one. I do like this rainbow one, so I'm going to tell it to give me more examples of that. So what I'm going to do is this will anything with a little u will high res, 1, 2, 3, 4. But I want a variation of number 2. So give me some variations of 2. And maybe some variations of 1. I did like 1 also. So it's going to go through and start creating variations of those examples, those pictures, right? So now not only do I have a book I'm writing, and I also have an image for the cover. Once I get this cover, then I can make it into a book cover. I can tell this image to create it as a book cover, and then it's done for me, high res, then take the chapters and create the ebook and start putting it together. And you can run a lot of these textbooks through spell checkers and things like that, all of that. So let's see. So it gave us a few more examples. So these are cool. I like these. I think number 2 is pretty cool. One's funny. Now number 4 it's got the yellow, but I think 2 it's a pretty neat one as well. But in the other variation I've looked at is this. Now for a book, these are definitely more like it. 1 and 2 look almost identical. 3 and 4. So I'm gonna choose 1. I do like 1, so I'm just gonna high res 1. And now that I've got this full version of it, now I can take this and then save it. And I'll just go through and call it ebook cover. So now I've got that I can then make it into a book by using other programs as well. But for now we've gotten that. Now I can go back in here and then I can just tell it to continue the story. Where were we? So we're going to go back here and tell it to do chapter 3 with a twist, But I'm going to tell it to change it up, right? Chapter 3 with a twist. Introduce a witch who hates cats. Hates cats. All right, so now it's going to write chapter 3. And originally, it was basically on here. Let me go back on here. I think we went a little too far. Here you go. There we go. The scary twist. Originally, it was Whisker tries to keep the amulet safe. She discovers that there's others who want an amulet of their own purposes. Individuals are not just ordinary people, but they're actually evil sorcerers who want the amulet to take it over. So originally it had sorcerers, and it kind of talks a bit about that, right? So now we're going to go back to what we told it to change it up. So we're going to go through chapter 3. Now we've introduced a witch into the story. So now we've got that happening. So now you're talking about, Whiskers the cat was carrying the amulet around, nothing happened. And then all of a sudden, one day Whiskers is exploring the woods and she hears strange cackling noises. Eventually she comes to a witch, and it kind of continues the story from there. Now, while I'm working on that, I should ask it, should I make this a hardcover or soft cover? What is your recommendation? Again, this is for children. So now we're going to go through, and it's going to go through for a children's book. It's recommended going with a soft cover. Soft covers are generally more affordable, lightweight, easier to handle, and colorful, catching, and so on. However, if you plan to sell on a hardcover, you consider offering both options and give the reader a choice. Exactly, just kind of go through budgets, things like that, So, so I'm just going to say, okay, how many chapters should I have if I want, let's just say 200 pages. So now it's going to go through for the ebook and recommend how many in an ebook, right? A chapter in an ebook ranges from 5 to 15 pages. And so now it's kind of going through saying that I could have about 20 chapters in your 200-page ebook. So I'm just going to say, write me the 20 chapter titles in a list below. So now I wanted to just write 20 chapters of what the book is going to be about, you know. So now there they are. And it could be as simple as write chapter 16. You can give it the title or not. I'm going to do it, Return to the Village. So now it's going to go through and write me chapter 16. But now I've got the list of titles on here that I can kind of go down on and literally just have it write for you. So in the example of what I'm doing today for the side project that I'm working on is I'm working on a masterclass for ChatGPT. So I told it to write all the chapters for me, but not only to do the chapters for me, but to have an AI generated person create that for me. So we're going to have something like this. Let me find her. Something like this. So what I'm doing is I'll drop the text script on here, and then it'll go through. I don't know if you'll be able to hear her because I don't know if I have a audio system on or not. I don't think I have audio system on.
Welcome to our exciting masterclass on ChatGPT, the cutting-edge technology that is revolutionizing.
So as you can see, it's actually generating an AI person on there with my task. So if I wanted to do like an audiobook, I could go there and add the script. I could change my actors to a different actor. I could change my backgrounds, my shapes. I can add a logo. I could add some music, transitions. There's so many cool things that you can do with this technology. Again, that's one of the side ones that I was working on. But basically what I'm doing is I'm doing that. So for you, for example, you know, let's just say you want to do a master class on coffee, right? You could do it here if you want. Again, I always like just doing it in your chat. Hi, want to do a master class about coffee. Give me 10 lessons on what I should talk about. So I'm going to go through and then create me a masterclass about coffee. Okay, so here we go. Speaking of coffee, I got to go pick up coffee today. So here you go. So now it's giving us 10 lessons on what we could talk about coffee. Tweet people about my coffee masterclass. Also entice them, it's spelled it wrong, entice them that the first 100 people to sign up get a bag of coffee. So we'll go through and it'll actually create, hey everybody, this is my tweet. These are a couple of, by the way. Coffee lovers, yada yada, and it'll kind of tell you the first 100 people to get coffee. So these are the ones that I could do, you know. So write me a script for a master class video on this. So again, we're going to do a script, meaning like a movie script or a video script. So we're going to go through. Sure, here's an example. Opening shot, a steamy cup of coffee on the table. I gotta do the right voice, right? With the instructor sitting next to it. Instructor, welcome to the Coffee Masterclass. Today we're going to take a journey into the wonderful world of coffee. So as you can see now, it kind of goes through the scripting of that, and then it kind of goes into a shot. And then you can do these cut shots yourself, you know, with your phone and so on. What is a good short TikTok video for this also? So I just asked it to just give me a short TikTok video. Again, you know, quick cut over. TikToks are short. So kind of go through and do what it needs to do. Give me also a jingle. Catchy for this business. And fun. So here's a jingle, right? Catchy and fun. You know, verse 1. The best part of... Okay, that's a whole different one. So wake up in the morning feeling kind of groggy. Gotta get my caffeine fix. It's my coffee hobby. I know just the place to go where the beans are fresh and strong, and the baristas are friendly and they know their way around. Get your coffee, get your kicks, get the mojo flowing. So, okay, so say you like this, but every word you wanted it to end with some coffee term, right? Redo this, but end each rhyme with a coffee term. So now it's going to go through and redo it again, but it wants to do a term, a coffee term, blends, stirring, and things like that. So let's go here. Whether you like it black or with a milk and foam, we've got other drinks to make you feel at home. Espresso, latte, cappuccino, and mocha will make it just the way you like it. Never say choca. Things like that you really, really can utilize this tool to its limits. And the only reason why I really wanted to show you this is because it is one of those things that it has really pushed the boundaries of multitasking for not even a home user, but a business, and really pushing what the limits could be. Getting this to write it for you, getting it to sending it to different things, getting ideas created automatically. All you got to do is, again, hire people that can just put in small ideas, and now you have a staff of people that can be prompters, that can be prompting engineers and know that. And believe it or not, what I just showed you, they're now having a new type of employee called a prompting engineer. Their base price to get a prompting engineer to just do what I just showed you, just typing a bunch of stuff like a monkey, starts at $115,000 to $130,000 a year to do what I just did. Type a bunch of stuff for the company. That is a lot of dough if you're looking for a new job. So you can make so much money doing this. I'm not selling anything. I'm not doing like most people would say, well, what are you selling right now? I'm not. This was just free information for you guys because I was working on a project and I wanted to show you. I am doing a master class, but I'm not going to promote it just yet because I need to fine tune a few things to it. But if you're interested, hit me up privately. Let me know. I can help you out with whatever you need on this. And then this is Rio Galindo, Brain Creators AI, and I will talk to you on the next one.